I can guarantee you that you're leaving way more points, playing time, and just overall basketball success on the table than you'd think. And Christian Braun is a perfect example of someone who you can study to learn these nuanced skills that are often never really taught, but can clearly help you out a ton. This is a guy who's averaging 15 a game in the league, shooting almost 60% from the field, and is about to get paid. And it's because he's developed all these skills that most players simply don't have. And if you can learn these too and apply them, you'd be surprised at how much of an impact you can make on the court. So let's break down his game a bit and how you can add 10 points a game easily. First off, let's talk transition. Braun actually has a higher percentage of transition points than anyone in the league, and this is a skill. But again, not many players say, yeah, I'm gonna work on my transition scoring this summer. Not many at all. Maybe you should though. So first off, many of these buckets begin with defense. Either he directly causes a turnover, which leads to a wide open layup or an easy attempt, or he's involved in a defensive stop that ends up getting them a nice advantage. Either way, this is a great example of how defense can actually help you score more and get some momentum going as well with easy buckets. Once he's running a transition, he's fantastic at finding lanes. So notice here how he's scanning, looking to find the best angle to get a nice catch in between defenders with momentum to the basket. And a lot of this comes down to monitoring defenders' momentum and speeds to find a way to get a road to the rim.
Braun in transition gets the easy two.
Now, much of this begins with getting wide first. If you build the habit of sprinting fast and wide to the sidelines in transition like you see here, it does a few things. One, it spreads out the defense so they can't guard both the ball handler and the man running alongside them. Or like here, by getting wide, he increases the distance from the defense who's taught to get back and protect the paint first, which means either a longer closeout or more room to gain ahead of steam. Two, it allows them to angle in rather than going straight down the middle, which is much more comfortable to score this way. And three, even if he catches it on the sideline, now they have to flip all the way back to face this way, so if he slashes back towards the middle, it's tough for them to flip back again. And you'll see him stay sidelined for a long time too. Here, he's just waiting an opportunity to angle into the basket at the right time, but until then, he's just kind of hiding on this sideline. Here, he stays there to make this an easier pass for Russ, versus allowing the defense to now get in between them. And on all these, you'll see how much it forces the defense to spread their attention versus always running middle with the ball handler and allowing them to guard too. Next is his overall patience. When he has a clear advantage, that's when he goes full speed along that sideline. But when not, he's developed a great feel for slowing down, allowing teammates to attract multiple defenders, and then follow the play and get a nice catch. Even when he gets a bit too ahead of the play, he realizes this and slows down to still be in scoring position with still a bit of momentum. And then sometimes that patience becomes a nice little change of speed move that allows you to then explode by and get an easy layup. And this is super important because you won't always get the ball in transition. But if you stick around to find a nice scoring position, you may end up getting an easy bucket, but probably a second or two after you would have thought. Another very important read Braun makes very well is seeing two passes away in transition. In other words, when they pass it to this player, where can I be to best receive the ball in a position to score? So you're always going to be adjusting your lanes. Now, of course, you won't always catch the ball and score right away, but what you can be looking for here as well is a momentum advantage, which looks like this. Braun has the ball, full head of steam, and the defenders backing up wait on their heels. You still got to go get a bucket, of course, but this makes it much easier and is one of the big advantages of playing fast in transition. So start noticing when you have this opportunity. Scan the floor for defenders who are getting back and aren't set, for ways that you can catch, attack, and use your momentum to convert. And Braun has developed really good techniques to finish in situations like this. Here, he jumps early to catch a defender when they're still on the ground, and since he has some nice momentum and the defender's still backing up, if he jumps before him, there's no way the defender can get there to contest. Also, keep in mind that the secondary break is a great opportunity as well, where originally you don't get anything, the defense gets back, but they're not fully set yet. So you take advantage of them scrambling, even if you don't get an easy bucket in the fast break, and still make something happen. But overall, just notice how much focus he puts towards these fast break chances. He just runs harder too sometimes. He makes smart leak outs like you see right here as his teammate gets the ball, and he knows he's not adding anything to the rebounding effort, so he's gone. and he's always ready. And this in itself earns him millions of dollars.
Look at this. Braun, the hustle, the steal, and the dunk.
Next up is cutting, another way to get easy buckets. And just like we talked about spacing to the sidelines in transition, Braun's spacing here is the first priority. Because the more distance you have from teammates, the more your defender will have to turn and help, and the easier it is to cut by them.
Now with 17 points, 12 rebounds, 19 points.
Case in point, if you get deep into the corners, it's tough for your defender to keep an eye on you and the ball. Now, before diving into how he cuts, first off, just keep an eye on how hard and intentful these cuts are. He never cuts just to cut, but to get into space fast, looking for the ball. Something that sounds simple, but isn't done as much as you would think. So the first situation he's looking for on cuts, of course, is off of double teams. He plays with Jokic. So as soon as two guys go to the ball, he's looking for a lane similar to how he does in transition as the defense is scrambling. Another cue to cut here is looking for 45 cuts when a teammate drives baseline, or the opposite, looking to cut baseline when somebody gets downhill from the 45. Secondary cuts as well, he scores a ton off of, which basically means that if somebody catches it on a cut or on their way to the rim, it causes the entire defense to turn, go into high alert, and usually they're going to be vulnerable for the next cut. This is also common on a short roll, where as soon as his teammate catches it here, what do you know, the entire defense turns, and that burn cut here is almost automatic.
More of that as he plays, but yet right off the bat, picking up where he left off the other night.
A really underrated one here as well are bogets, where he'll come off this handoff, won't get it, but keeps cutting into space here. And if you have a big who can make this pass, it's a tough one to stop. And then lastly, some defenders are very quick to jump to the ball on a pass, either to look for a deflection or to anticipate a get action where he's coming off a handoff. So these give and goes are a great time to cut as well. Now, keep in mind that many times you'll cut, set a screen, run a transition, whatever, and end up here under the basket. A lot of players just end up staying here, clogging up space, bringing their help defense over. But Braun does a great job of spacing a bit to the short corner, staying active, looking for space, and looking to catch or seal, and then scoring from there. Another situation in which you'd be surprised how often the defense will just forget about you. Other times he's seeking inside position, so again, getting down the floor quickly, so this defender is now a bit behind him, sealing them a bit, and then cutting from there. Another testament to his fast break ability. Oh, and we can't forget slips either. I guess it's not really a cut, I don't know, but this is one that he racks up points on crazy. He's great at reading when both defenders jump to the ball, or when there's a lazy switch, defenders don't get in a position to stop this lane, and he flies to the rim from there for an easy bucket. So clearly, a lot of options here that we just ran through quickly, but this goes to show you just why you should be mentally engaged the entire time on offense, because I guarantee you, you're missing chances to cut. And now for the third and final category, he's an absolute killer off of the catch, which, once again, you can probably guess by now starts with spacing. So here he realized that as is, Levine can both double Jokic and guard him. So he spaces, stretches this distance, and creates a super long closeout. So ironically, sometimes the further you get from the ball, the better chance you have to get it. Then when he does catch, he's almost always in this split position when he's looking to attack, which gives him a more explosive position to accelerate from, and is a comfortable way to kind of hop to the side to adjust your angle and still comfortably explode from there. Then other times he'll catch it in a more even stance, in a very slight forward lean as well, where like he could shoot from this posture, but he's also primed to explode by since he's slightly leaning forward, but he's never too eager here.
Good ball movement for Denver. This is Braun.
He's not stopping to let the defender recover, but he's taking his time to make the right decision, coordinate comfortable footwork, and even allow the defender to get closer to him, so it's even easier to blow by. Since he's a 39% three-point shooter, they gotta close out hard and get all the way there, which means their momentum is often out of control, so with a quick but patient attack, he's gone.
Oregon, and was a high school teammate of Mike Dunleavy Jr., won a state championship.
And then lastly, on the ones where he does just catch and shoot, his rhythm is super smooth. As the ball is getting there, he's already lowering his center of mass so that on the catch, that down and up motion has already started, or he can even go straight up from the point where he catches it, which isn't only good for developing a quick release, but also making each shot feel more fluid, pure, and confident. So again, a lot of these are these little things that you'll never really learn from most people, especially current basketball social media. These are some things that if you work on them, study them, try to apply them into your game, are going to really help you succeed. As always, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Catch you next time.